welcome to another episode of Ontario Permaculture. I'm Misty Murph'Ariens. For this video, I just want to share with you what we've been up to this autumn. It's been a really busy season. Let's have a look. Here in Ontario, there's a definite vibe to the autumn. Things are starting to finish and decay. What used to be bright and beautiful is starting to go to seed and fall away. And that's why I find it's really, really important in this season to take time to reflect on those spiritual themes that we see, the letting go, but also the embracing of the spare beauties that we have, those things that hold on and remind us of the sunshine even as it fades. We still have many crops to bring in. This is Jerusalem artichoke, which blooms near to the end of October and reminds us that we have some tubers in the ground to collect. Not only that, we have to start to bring in the grains. This is a golden amaranth, giant amaranth crop that we grow, and just like everything else we have grown and that comes to this season, it has to be preserved. It has to be harvested, and then after it's harvested, it has to be dried. Once it's dried, it has to be sifted and put away in jars or bags. This is a major project, and all of the grains and herbs and various roots and seeds that we've grown over the year all have to be processed this way. Not exactly at the same time, but quite a lot. As you can see, for the corn, we like to shuck the corn and then tie it back onto wreaths, which allows the corn kernels to dry, but also gives you really pretty autumn decorations. When possible, we try and do the garlic and the onions the same way. By this time in the season, the leaves on the trees are starting to look like autumn, but there's still a huge mass of hazelnuts in the food forest, and one more important crop before we end the fruit season. That's right, apples. We follow the pagan wheel of the year for our holy days, and Mabon, or the Autumn Equinox, is called the Feast of Apples or the Feast of Fruit. Apples were a really important crop for the Europeans, especially in pre-industrial era, before refrigeration and before massive global transportation of food. Preserving something that could get you through the whole winter, something that wasn't too soft and wouldn't over ripen too quickly after you brought it in, something that takes to drying and canning and making into a variety of different seasonal treats. It's no wonder that apple was such an important fruit. And of course, the livestock love it. The horses and the cows both look forward to season in which they can have an occasional treat of sweetness. It is a wonderful seasonal activity to bond with family and all the creatures on the farm, and all embrace the fullness of summer ending and the beginnings of autumn. As is best with all abundance, we share a good amount, and then we gather some in for later. We love to enjoy our apple harvest with a special Mabon upside down cake cooked on the wood stove with some of our own sweet, tart apples. Full of warmth and spice, it's a wonderful way to celebrate the new season. And let us not forget the black beauty of this season.
No, while they are all lovely, the black beauty to which I refer are these thornless blackberries. They come ripe right at the end of summer and beginning of autumn, just as all the other small fruit in the food forest has finished off. These ones are just coming ripe, which means they're just in time to make it into some apple sauces and apple leathers and make wonderful additions to muffins and cakes and things like that. I would suggest these thornless blackberries to anyone who wants to fill in some relatively feral space that doesn't get much tending but has lots of sunlight and just wants something to just go wild and fill in the space. These came from, I believe, a single cane that we had gotten from a neighbor, and over the years they have just spread and spread. They're so delicious and juicy, and they're relatively frost hardy as well. So even if they're hanging on with a bit of fruit after it gets cold, the fruit only gets nicer and sweeter. I've said it before, but I will say it again. Blackberries are a wonderful idea to put into public hedgerows. Imagine if baskets of fruit were waiting for anyone who had the time and inclination to pick them. Mmm, delicious. As we approach spooky season and then cold season, please, I urge you to take time to go looking for the sweet little reminders of the summer sunshine. Savor the flavor of all things autumn. Snuggle your creatures well. And most importantly of all, take time to soak in the sunshine whenever it chooses to bless you. And may you be very, very blessed.
Thanks so much for watching, folks. We really appreciate you coming around to the channel. We appreciate so much when you subscribe, when you like our videos and share them. And a special thank you to all of our financial supporters on Patreon, on GoFundMe, and all the other ways you show your support. We really, really appreciate you. So until next time.
Blah, blah, blah.